Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something that affects each and every one of us: education. For centuries, education has been viewed as the key to success. But what if I told you that the system we rely on hasn't truly evolved with the world around it? What if the problem isn't education itself, but the mindset behind how we define and deliver it? For too long, education has been about memorizing facts, passing exams, and getting degrees. Students are often treated like products on an assembly line, expected to think the same way, learn at the same pace, and aim for the same goals. But the world has changed. Technology, creativity, and collaboration now define success far more than rote learning ever could. We need a mindset shift, from teaching answers to nurturing curiosity, from fearing failure to embracing it as part of growth, and from competition to collaboration. Education should no longer be about simply fitting in. It should be about standing out, about helping every learner discover their unique potential and purpose. A true education mindset values learning over scoring, growth over grades, and understanding over memorization. It empowers students to question, to imagine, and to innovate. Teachers become mentors, classrooms become laboratories of ideas, and mistakes become opportunities. If we want a generation ready for the challenges of tomorrow, we must stop preparing them for the tests of yesterday. The future belongs to those who think differently, and our education system must evolve to make that possible. Thank you. Education should focus on understanding and problem solving, not rote learning. Students should be inspired to ask questions and explore, not just follow instructions. Mistakes are powerful learning tools, not signs of weakness. Promote collaboration instead of competition. Real-world success depends on teamwork and empathy, not just individual scores. Empower teachers as mentors, not just instructors. Teachers should guide students to discover their strengths and passions. Prepare students for the future, not the past. Education must evolve with technology, creativity, and global change, equipping learners for the world they'll actually face. Would you like me to make it more formal, for a debate or competition, or more motivational, for a school assembly or TED-style talk? For far too long, education has been centered around memorization, the ability to recall facts, formulas, and definitions. Students are often rewarded for how well they can repeat information rather than how deeply they understand it. This mindset has created generations of learners who can answer questions but struggle to ask meaningful ones. Rhymes. While memorization may help us pass exams, it doesn't prepare us for real life. A life that demands problem solving, creativity, and the courage to think independently. Critical thinking, on the other hand, is about understanding the why behind the what. It means analyzing situations, questioning assumptions, and connecting ideas across different subjects. When students are taught to think critically, they learn to see patterns, evaluate evidence, and make informed decisions, skills that are essential not just in academics, but in every aspect of life. The world we live in today changes faster than ever before. Information is no longer scarce. It's everywhere. So instead of teaching students what to think, we need to teach them how to think. This requires classrooms that encourage discussion, debate, and curiosity. Teachers should ask open-ended questions, challenge students to defend their viewpoints, and create opportunities for them to apply knowledge creatively. Whether through projects, real-world problems, or interdisciplinary learning. By moving away from memorization and embracing critical thinking, education becomes a process of discovery rather than repetition. It transforms learners from passive receivers of information into active explorers of knowledge. One of the greatest challenges in today's education system is that it often values conformity over curiosity. From an early age, students are taught to follow instructions, stick to the syllabus, and give the right answers, as if there is only one way to see the world. This approach may produce disciplined students, but it can also suppress the natural sense of wonder and imagination that drives true learning. When students are afraid to question or think differently, education becomes a routine rather than an exploration. Curiosity, however, is the foundation of discovery and innovation. It's what pushes scientists to explore the unknown, artists to create the unseen, and inventors to solve the unsolved. Encouraging curiosity means allowing students to ask why, how, and what if. It means giving them space to investigate ideas that interest them, even if those ideas fall outside traditional textbooks. When curiosity is nurtured, learning becomes exciting. It transforms from an obligation into a genuine passion. Teachers play a crucial role in shaping this curiosity-driven mindset. Instead of focusing solely on correct answers, they can create an environment where questions are valued as much as answers. Project-based learning, open discussions, and creative assignments can help students explore their interests while connecting them to real-world issues. Moreover, curiosity fosters lifelong learning. When students develop the habit of asking questions and seeking understanding, they continue learning long after they leave the classroom. By encouraging curiosity instead of demanding conformity, education can cultivate thinkers, creators, and innovators. Individuals who are not afraid to challenge norms or imagine better solutions for the world around them. In many educational systems, failure is seen as the end, a sign of weakness, a mark of incompetence, or something to be ashamed of. Students are often pressured to achieve perfect grades, to never make mistakes, and to constantly meet expectations. This creates a fear-driven culture where learners focus more on avoiding errors than on exploring possibilities. As a result, creativity and confidence suffer, and students begin to associate failure with personal inadequacy rather than a natural part of learning. But the truth is, failure is one of the most powerful teachers we have. Every mistake carries a lesson. Every setback offers a chance to improve. When students are encouraged to reflect on their failures, to analyze what went wrong and how they can do better, they develop resilience, problem-solving skills, and emotional intelligence. They learn that success is not the absence of failure, but the ability to rise after it. The world beyond school rewards those who can adapt, persist, and think critically in the face of challenges. Some of the greatest minds in history, inventors, scientists, and leaders, achieved success only after experiencing repeated failures. Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed." Why have not failed? I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This mindset is what drives progress. When failure is reframed as part of the journey rather than the end of it, students gain the courage to experiment, to take risks, and to learn through experience. To create this shift, schools and teachers must cultivate a growth mindset, the belief that intelligence and ability can be developed through effort and learning. Instead of penalizing mistakes, educators should help students reflect on them and celebrate persistence. Assessments should measure growth, creativity, and improvement, not just final results. This transformation allows students to see education as a continuous process of becoming better, not a competition for perfection. In most classrooms today, students are often placed in an environment that values competition over collaboration. They are taught to aim for the highest grades, the top ranks, and individual achievements. While healthy competition can sometimes motivate students, excessive focus on outperforming others can create stress, isolation, and a belief that success is a solo pursuit. It encourages comparison rather than connection, and winning becomes more important than learning. This mindset not only limits personal growth, but also prevents students from developing the teamwork skills that are essential in the real world. The reality is that collaboration is the foundation of progress. Every great achievement in science, technology, art, or social change has been the result of people working together, combining their strengths, and learning from one another. When students collaborate, they learn to communicate, to listen, to compromise, and to value diverse perspectives. These are not just academic skills. They are life skills that prepare them for workplaces, communities, and relationships where cooperation matters far more than competition. Encouraging collaboration means redesigning classrooms to promote shared learning experiences rather than individual contests. Group projects, peer feedback sessions, and team-based problem-solving tasks can help students realize that everyone has something valuable to contribute. Collaboration also teaches empathy. It helps students understand that others may think differently, and that those differences can lead to richer, more creative outcomes. Moreover, when students work together, they develop a sense of collective responsibility. They learn that success is not about being the best alone, but about helping everyone move forward together. Teachers play a crucial role in fostering this mindset by creating inclusive spaces where students feel safe to share ideas, make mistakes, and grow as a team. In such an environment, learning becomes a shared journey. One where cooperation replaces rivalry and understanding replaces judgment. Teachers are often seen as the central figures in education, the ones who hold the knowledge, give instructions, and assess performance. However, in a system focused mainly on textbooks and test scores, teachers are frequently limited to the role of information deliverers. They are expected to complete syllabuses, prepare students for exams, and maintain discipline, often leaving little room for creativity or personal connection. This traditional model treats education as a one-way process. The teacher speaks, and the students listen. But true learning doesn't happen through instruction alone. It happens through guidance, inspiration, and mentorship. Empowering teachers as mentors means recognizing that they are not just sources of knowledge, but shapers of minds and builders of character. A mentor does more than teach facts. They nurture curiosity, confidence, and resilience. Hint: they help students discover their strengths, identify their passions, and overcome their fears. When teachers are mentors, classrooms become spaces of trust and growth, where students feel safe to express themselves, ask questions, and learn through exploration. To achieve this, teachers must be given freedom and support to go beyond rigid lesson plans. They should be encouraged to adopt creative teaching methods, integrate real-world examples, and connect learning to students' lives. Mentorship also means paying attention to the emotional and mental well-being of students. Understanding that academic success cannot exist without empathy and encouragement. Furthermore, for teachers to truly act as mentors, they need continuous professional development and empowerment. When educators are given opportunities to learn, reflect, and innovate, they become more capable of inspiring their students. A mentor's role is not about being perfect, but about growing alongside their learners, showing that education is a lifelong journey. This shift in mindset transforms teaching from a job into a purpose, one that shapes not just what students know, but who they become. For decades, education systems around the world have been structured around the needs of the past, preparing students for a world that no longer exists. The traditional classroom model, with its fixed subjects, standardized tests, and rigid structures, was designed for an industrial age when success meant following instructions, maintaining discipline, and performing repetitive tasks efficiently. But today's world is entirely different. We live in an era of rapid technological change, global connectivity, and constant innovation, where adaptability, creativity, and emotional intelligence matter far more than memorizing facts or mastering fixed routines. Preparing students for the future means teaching them skills that machines cannot replicate, such as critical thinking, problem solving, communication, and empathy. The future will not reward those who simply know information. It will reward those who can use information in meaningful, imaginative ways. Artificial intelligence can now process data faster than any human, but it cannot dream, empathize, or make ethical decisions. These are uniquely human abilities that education must nurture. To align with the future, schools need to embrace modern, flexible learning approaches. Lessons should integrate technology, interdisciplinary projects, and real-world problem solving. Instead of teaching subjects in isolation, students should learn how science connects with art, how technology impacts society, and how communication influences progress. So, education should also focus on digital literacy, teaching students not just how to use technology, but how to think critically about the information they encounter online. Equally important is preparing students for lifelong learning. The future will not have one fixed career path. People will need to adapt, reskill, and reinvent themselves multiple times throughout their lives. Schools should therefore focus less on producing graduates who know everything, and more on developing learners who are curious, flexible, and self-driven. By doing so, education becomes a continuous journey of growth, one that empowers students not only to survive in a changing world, but to shape it with creativity, compassion, and purpose. In the end, a true education is not about grades, ranks, or certificates. It's about growth, curiosity, and the courage to think differently. If we want to build a generation ready to lead the world with innovation and compassion, we must shift our mindset from teaching for exams to teaching for life. Education should not prepare students to fit into the world as it is. It should empower them to transform it into what it can be. Thank you.